Hello, everybody. It's me, Shannon LaBruyere. I am live and loving it tonight. I really am excited to bring you Sunday Night Live, where we explore the principles that allow you to thrive and change. The change that you want, the change you don't, the little tiny changes that add up over time and can wear us down, or the big changes that come out of nowhere and sweep us off our feet. I'm here to tell you that you can thrive in all manner of change. You don't look the same while you're in the midst of all manner of change. Sometimes it takes more of a toll than others. Sometimes it takes more energy. Sometimes we're having to not maybe do as much on the outside, but invest on the inside. Thriving in change doesn't mean that we look the same in every situation. Thriving in change means that no matter what comes our way, we can sink our roots deep and we can gather strength for those times when it is okay for us to bloom again and things are a little more settled. So, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hey, Kelly, good to see you live. It's been a while. And Corey, hi, it's good to see you. If you are jumping on Sunday Night Live, make sure you say hi. Drop it in the comments. Hey, Mary, you're here live too. It's so good to see you. And if you've never been on Sunday Night Live or been a part of these discussions before, by all means, give StreamYard permission to use your Facebook profile and your Facebook um, picture when you post. And that way we'll know who you are and we'll be able to see your face when you write in the comments. Okay. So that'll be awesome. Now let's talk a little bit about tonight's topic. Our Thrive principle is hashtag trust the process. Hashtag trust the process. Here's the thing. Tonight we are going to talk about urgency. And some ways we can deal with urgency, some of them more productive than others, some of them more effective than others. But urgency is often the result of a process that we have in our lives that drives urgency. We are often the creators of the urgency that we say has a grip on our lives that causes us to run around, like I said in my Facebook post, like our hair is on fire. Phil, it's good to see you. Welcome. So, when everything is urgent and we're running around like a chicken with our head cut off, it can be difficult to take a step back and take a deep breath. We start feeling as if we do not have time. So, take a deep breath. Right now, you have time. Whether you're watching this live or you're listening to this podcast or you're watching the video a couple of weeks down the road, maybe you subscribe to my YouTube channel and you're just going back to see what you've missed. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself to relax and listen. Allow that sense of urgency to be set aside. And if you have to, promise it that you'll pick it back up when we're done. So, for the next 25 minutes or so, I invite you to breathe deep, listen with an open mind and an open heart, and let's talk about urgency. Here's the thing about urgency, it robs us of options. Urgency robs us of options. When you've allowed a health condition to go too far and you have a heart attack, you no longer have the option to selectively choose the appropriate time to go to the doctor. You have to go immediately. You don't get to choose perhaps which hospital that you'd like to go to seek treatment because your little health issue got to a point where it was urgent. And when things are urgent, we don't have the opportunity to choose anymore. I went with my grandchildren and my daughter to a just a really fun little frontier town here nearby in our town, and it has a petting zoo, and there's an ice cream parlor and a little arcade where you can play games. Super fun. And I needed to use the restroom, and it was getting pretty urgent. And there was a porta potty, and it wasn't a bad one as far as porta potties go. Those of you who have been in a porta potty understand what I'm talking about. They are what they are. On the scale of 1 to 10 of how good was this porta potty, it was an 8. It was pretty good. But my sense of urgency wasn't quite to the point where I had to say, I'm going to use that facility. I was able to find another alternative. But sometimes that sense of urgency says, I don't care what it looks like. It's got to happen, right? Think about a time in your life when you allowed something that could have been taken care of to become urgent. What happens when things become urgent? We lose our options of how to deal with them, right? We lose our ability to pick the timing, right? Don't get to pick the time. If you let something go too long, you're just going to have to take action no matter what. Or sometimes the default happens, right? And we just are stuck with whatever the results are because the situation that we could have intervened early went too far and it became urgent. Here's another problem, another challenge with things that are urgent. Urgency feeds on itself. That urgent thing that you didn't take care of, the bill you didn't pay on time, and so now it's gotten to the point where it's urgent. You didn't make time to pay it at the beginning, and now it's to the point where I've got to do it in the next 15 minutes. And because I have to do it in the next 15 minutes, the thing that I really should be doing in the next 15 minutes, I can't do, right? So I have to put it off. And the snowball of urgency starts to roll down the hill. Thumbs up. You hearing what I'm saying? Have you had urgent things happening in your life and watched them snowball because the thing that had to be done bumped the other thing that didn't have to be done quite yet? I love the 7 habits of highly effective people. And one of the 7 habits that Stephen Covey talks about in his book is called First Things First, doing the important things first. And so, as we're listening with open hearts and open minds, allowing ourselves to not feel that pressure of urgency right this moment, I would love for you to take a little bit of time to really evaluate in your life what is important. If you don't know what is important, if you don't have a way to prioritize, everything starts to be taken in order of urgency. And the more urgency there is, the more urgency we get. It's like a ratchet that just makes more and more urgency. It's throwing gasoline on the fire. You're running around, and this has happened to me. You've heard the old adage, haste makes waste. I am running around because I didn't plan well, because I'm supposed to be somewhere on time, and I am running behind. And so what happens? I'm running to grab my coffee so that I can take it with me on the road. I don't have time to get the lid to put on the cup. And you guys know what happens. I dump a whole cup of coffee on my front before I have to go to a meeting. Ugh. The urgency just compounded, and it was maddening. Urgency feeds on itself. Now you don't have one problem, you have two. And it can feel and sound overwhelming. But if you can identify what is important, you will start to see urgency decrease. Easier said than done. Easier said than done. When I was a young mom, I was a young wife, and I had a young career, and I was juggling all of those things. And I was not the best at everything. But my husband and I sat down and we talked about what was important. And we did the best we could to make sure that we spent time with our family, that we spent time with each other, because we knew that was important. And that choice made us a better couple, better parents, better servants, better servant leaders, because we understood what was important and we made time for what was important. We fool ourselves into thinking that we don't have time to take care of the important because we have so much that's urgent. The thing is, when we take time to take care of what's important, we have less urgent. When we focus on what's important, we have fewer things in the urgent category. Knowing what's important and making time to do what's important decreases the urgency in our lives. When you take a look at all of the urgent things that feel like, or maybe they have to be done immediately, if there are too many, it doesn't matter how urgent they are, something is going to fall off the plate. You've got a pile of urgent. Picture your pile of urgent. I can hear your heart beating. Oh, I've got so much urgent. If there's too much to be done, something is going to be undone. I'm here to tell you, you have the capability, you have the ability, you are capable of choosing what to leave undone. You have it. You can do it. I believe in you. Don't allow the important things to fall off your plate. Protect the pork chop. What's the important thing on your plate? Do what you need to do to protect that. That's when you're looking at a pile of urgent, what's the pork chop on the dinner plate? Protect that, and the other things will fall off. Mary says, I had an overdraft and 24 hours to cover it before a fee was charged. That was a priority. Yes. That and they've built in some good alarms, right? So you get the notice that says, hey, did you know something happened here? You did the math wrong. You need to put some more money in or fix it. Appreciate those signals that let us know when something is urgent. And then taking a look at how many times have I gotten that notice from the bank? Have I been relying on that notice from the bank that tells me it's urgent? Has that become my trigger for taking action? Often urgency becomes our trigger for taking action, and we feel like I can just rest until something becomes urgent. It's a habit that we get into. Kelly says, I've been hyperactive my whole life. My whole life is spent in a constant state of urgency. I have gotten better, but it's still a struggle to choose to prioritize. Well, Kelly, I'm guessing, in fact, I know that your ability to prioritize has grown as you've grown as a person, as you've invested time and effort into growing in the ways you think, in your level of awareness about you and others. We've been able to watch you over the course of the time you've been involved in Sunday Night Live, which has probably been a couple of years now. We've been able to watch you different times reporting, this happened when I was driving to work and I chose to respond differently. And because I chose to respond differently, I had a better day. And because I had a better day, I was able to make better decisions. That snowball effect, you stopped it in its tracks because you've chosen to grow. And that's what I want to emphasize now. When there is so much urgent happening in your life, it is tempting to say, I don't have time to learn. I don't have time to grow. I don't have time to rest. I don't have time to recharge. because that sense of urgency is overwhelming. You can choose to prioritize being rested. You can. You can. You can choose to prioritize being rested, eating healthy. You can choose to prioritize growing in your understanding of yourself and others, growing in your ability to communicate. I'm preparing to launch our newest module in Livestream Leadership, and we are going to be doing an in-depth, powerful mastermind study on developing the leader within you 2.0, a book by John C. Maxwell. And as you know, I'm a Maxwell leadership certified trainer and coach. I am so tickled by just the preparation I'm doing for this mastermind, because what it's helping me to do is understand what is important and helping me to grow as a person so that I can actually do the important things, so that I know how to deal with those constant distractions, so that I know how to make sure that I've got my relationships in order, that I've done my due diligence before I take on a new project. Growing as a person allows me to decrease the amount of urgency that happens in my life. And so, my question for you is this: how are you growing as a person? If you are constantly running around like your hair is on fire, it might feel like I couldn't possibly have time to do a mastermind. Well, what if I were to tell you that the time you spent investing in your growth, your learning, what if I were to tell you that that time that you invest actually saves you 20 times as much time down the road? Because when we grow in our understanding, when we grow in our level of awareness, when we grow in our ability to thrive and change, we don't create as much urgency. We don't create as much urgency when we are growing and learning. We don't make as many mistakes, if you will. The mistakes we make are of a different nature. Does that make sense? And does that feel possible to you? Does that feel possible that you could take time in whatever arena you choose to? It doesn't have to be joining Livestream Leadership. There are so many ways that you can grow. Get a library book. Go back to the YouTube archive and listen or watch all of the Sunday Night Lives that you haven't seen. Find somebody that you respect and lean into what they're teaching. But you can make the choice to grow. And when you do that and invest the time in what's important, you create less urgency. Philip says that's good and positive. Yes, it is good and positive. And then the positive ratchet starts. Instead of the urgent thing that makes the next thing more urgent, the fact that we, didn't we I won't go down to that road again. We can choose. And when we choose to prioritize the things that are important and grow as a person and our ability to deal with things, fewer things fall off the plate, fewer things roll down the hill and become bigger. There are some things in our lives that are urgent, and we cannot stop that. There are things that are just going to happen. The urgency that we can prevent, we need to prevent so that we have the ability to respond when the big thing happens or when the small but urgent thing comes along. You can build a life that isn't powered by urgency, and it is one choice at a time. Kelly says, I've gotten better, but it's still a struggle, and you've gotten better. And so what's the next thing you need to do to prioritize so that it doesn't become urgent. And the more we plan to do those things that are important, the fewer and fewer things get bumped over into important and urgent, and it has to happen now. Oh, so what do you guys think? How do you deal with urgency? And where in your life do you see an opportunity to grow so that you can decrease the number of urgent things that are popping up? What action can you take? Share it with me. Share it. Share it with the rest of the Sunday Night Live crew here. Let us know, where can you make the adjustment so that you don't have as much urgency, so that you can focus on what's important, because urgency robs you of options, it robs you of time, it robs you of quality. When things are urgent, we don't do the best job, right? That deadline's right there. It's got to happen. We are just winging it. And then, oh, I forgot. Oh, I made a mistake. Oh, I forgot to add that in. The more we can plan the important, the less we will find bumping over into the urgent, and we're not running around as if our hair is on fire. So while you guys are thinking, I want to share a big thank you and a shout out to Thumb Roast Coffee, our sponsors for Sunday Night Live. They have generously offered a discount on the coffee you buy from thumbroastcoffee.com. You can get 15% off using the coupon code THRIVE, THRIVE equals 15% off. Their coffee is delicious. We are coming up here in Michigan. We are coming up on cooler weather in the morning, and it is so wonderful to sit down in my chair, my thinking chair, my praying chair. I can sit down with a pen and paper and my cup of Thumb Roast coffee, Sanilac Sunrise, perfect for breakfast, and I can enjoy a peaceful, calm morning. And that's when I plan to do the important. So I guess you could say, if you buy some Thumb Roast coffee, it's going to help you plan for the important. At least if you do it the way I do. It will, if you use that time that you're sitting down and sipping your coffee to be able to actually clear your mind, think about what matters, and put some things in place, simple things that are going to help you to keep your life from escalating into totally urgent. So thank you, Thumb Roast Coffee. So Mary says, even making it a priority to watch you on Sunday is important. Yes, those of you who are here week in and week out, kudos to you. I'm applauding you, because that is taking time out of your schedule to do something that is important, to exercise those muscles that allow you to be resilient and thrive and change. Well done, Mary. That's a great example. Kelly says, I know this sounds strange. The busier I keep myself, the more organized I stay, and I can prioritize more. You know, Kelly, it may not be strange. That might be momentum working for you. You're kind of on a roll, you've got things going. I can see that happening. And then the momentum kicks in, and it's not as much work to make things happen. Momentum is our friend. John Maxwell calls it the big mo. In fact, it's one of the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership. So look at you go, Kelly. Taking a second here to acknowledge that you've just identified something really powerful. And the fact that you acknowledge that and know it will help you to continue to be able to be more organized and prioritize better when you know that you're busy, and that creates momentum for you. So well done. Corey says, I appreciate your comment about sitting down with your husband to align on what is important. Taking time to understand that is helpful in prioritizing things as they come up. Yeah, priorities and knowing what we value, what we prioritize. It is the cornerstone to every decision that we make. It's that important. Corey, I'm really glad that you're highlighting that. Understanding what is important to us to the people that we're in relationship with, understanding that gives us the ability to know whether I need to do something or not. It allows us to say no. If it does not align with our priority, it can wait. And we can plan around those things that are important. It's powerful and it's necessary. It's necessary. I love it. You guys are fantastic. Every time I come on Sunday Night Live, my heart grows. I so appreciate you. I appreciate the effort you're putting into yourself, the belief that you have in yourself that you can grow and that you can have a better life. And even just as important, I should say, not more important, just as important, allow the people around you to have a better life. The impact that you being calm instead of running around like a chicken with your head cut off, the impact that that has on the people in your circle is profound. It's amazing. It's powerful. Your ability to prioritize trickles down to every relationship that you have. Every relationship you have. There's a song by Harry Chapin called Cats in the Cradle. You've probably heard it. And it tells the story of a man who has a little boy and he's busy. He's a busy dad. He's busy building his career. He's busy traveling. He's busy focusing on the urgent. And the song tells the story of him telling his son, I don't know when we're going to be able to get together, but we're going to do it soon. We're going to get together soon. We're going to make it happen soon. And the days went into months, went into years. And the end of that very sad song is a dad who looks at a life that he invested in the wrong place. He took care of the urgent, the things that were right in front of his face, the important phone call he had to take, that business deal that he needed to work. And every time he did it, he was sacrificing the important. And at the end, the boy doesn't have time for his dad. He's living the same life. There's a legacy of urgency that was passed on. We have the ability to interrupt that legacy of urgency by, like Corey said, sitting down, taking time to understand what is important so that we can prioritize and we can show the people who are watching us, the little people who are watching us, our peers, the people we lead. We can show them this is what it looks like to have a priority, to make decisions not based on what's urgent, but based on what's important. All right, with that, I love you all. You have a great evening. Enjoy. If you found this valuable, I encourage you to share it and maybe tag somebody that you know would benefit. That helps them, it helps you, and it helps me because the more people that I can impact, the more satisfaction and satisfaction. What's the other word? It's not just satisfaction. It's gratitude. Well, anyway, the more gratitude I have and the more satisfaction I have in doing what I do. With that, I wish you all a great week. Take care. Mwah. I love you. Bye.